So the transition for me was an interesting one because I had only trained for 3 years prior to joining the company. So I didn't know really what I was letting myself in for.
I'm originally from Jamaica and I started training in a small dance school in Jamaica. And then after that, I went to the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland and I trained for 2 years in modern ballet. And I auditioned for New Adventures in my last year for the production of Swan Lake, and I got in.
I graduated from Central in 2004, I think in July. I think I joined the company in August or September, it wasn't long. It was to do Swan Lake. I think the reason I enjoy the work so much is just because it kind of combines things that I love, which is dancing and acting and performing. Been lucky enough to have done multiple shows that they've all something different in them. Even though you're in the same company, the rep is so diverse. It can kind of, for me, it ticks the styles of dance that I like to perform.
I became aware of Matthew Bourne's Swan Lake in a dance history class in 2012 at my university in New Jersey. We were covering the topic of gender roles in dance. And I remember my professor passionately talking about how Matthew did gender swaps for his swans, and he showed a clip of it, and he said how it was controversial when it first came out and how it still was during that time.
Being the rehearsal director for Swan Lake this time around is a whole new experience for me. What it entails is that I feel that because I've done Swan Lake many times, I think I've done it about 6 times, I feel that I've learnt so much every year doing those contracts. Basically, I want to pass on my knowledge and my wisdom and everything that I know about the piece, the movement, the characteristics, the mental aspect of everything, the physical aspect of doing this show. So I feel that I can sort of guide the dancers through their journey. In terms of private sec, it's been quite interesting actually, because when I first joined the company, I was always scared to act. I'd like to dance, I'd like to move, but then to put the character on top was always quite tricky for me. And it wasn't until quite late actually that I did Red Shoes, where I discovered that actually maybe I can act.
So I'm a part of the ensemble and I have 2 signet roles. Before a show I like to sometimes do some pliés and tendus to really get my feet going, but that's after a daily class.
Yeah, returning to a role is something that some people don't tend to do for some reason, whatever that be. I have returned to roles before, especially with The Prince. I mean, the first time I played it when I was 22. Going back to it, 5 years later and now 8 years later again, I feel like I'm probably better because of life experience or general experience.
So I do the tracks of the Italian Princess, Hungarian Princess, and I cover the Spanish track. So if you're in a track from the beginning to the end of the production, you do a completely different maids, a different dignitary, a different moth or butterfly or troll in the ballet, and then the Italian Princess, and you're a different nurse at the end of Act 3.
I think one of the most great scenes that I like is the girlfriend in the box in the ballet. I just think that shouldn't happen, especially at the royal household and when they go to see the theatre, that she's really doing all these things that she shouldn't be doing. I think that's one of the moments that the audience really like, and you can tell that they really like it because they're just laughing from the beginning to end. So that's quite satisfying as well.
Well, there are many actually moments doing this production that I enjoy. To me, my favorite parts would be the Swan acts, particularly Act 2. Because the movement quality is closer to the style that I trained in and the kind of movement that I like.
There's good moments in the show, the Prince Queen duet is quite a nice, different kind of duet. It's not a love duet, obviously, it's like a raw kind of duet, which is nice to play. And then the duet with the Swan is, an iconic duet. There's no getting around that. I mean, the best bit of the show is the Act 4 fly down. Finishing the fly down as a Swan is like amazing adrenaline rush. Finishing it as the Prince is pretty devastating. I guess that is my favourite part of the show. It's just quite a tough one to get through.
There's so many moments in Swan Lake that I think stand out. Fangirl in Soho is a funny moment, and being on stage and hearing people chuckle in the audience is always a good moment for us, and we kind of make eye contact with each other and we're like, oh, someone's really enjoying it today. It's a moment I think the audience also begins to relax and they realize that it's funny, like you can laugh out loud, it's okay. And once you see people laughing around you, you're like, oh, okay, I can laugh, I can cry, I can make noise in this performance. It's not a stuffy show, like you can really just ride the roller coaster of emotions openly.